Okay, I started playing this ROM hack called Super Mario and the Cursed Castles, and then I kept playing it, and I couldn't stop playing it. I played it all the way to 100%, and by the time I got 120 stars, I realized that I actually maxed out my hard drive recording the footage and missed the last 10 minutes. I don't know if it's too soon to make this call, I don't know if maybe this is too impulsive, but I gotta be honest with you. As of right now, this is probably one of my favorite ROM hacks. Super Mario 64 ROM hacks have always been very important to me. The original game is one of my favorite games of all time, chiefly due to how great it feels just to move and run around as Mario, while also basically being 100% gameplay, which is something that is becoming more and more rare as video games evolve, for better or worse. So it only makes sense that I would love ROM hacks of this game, because it's fundamentally the same except in different never-before-seen worlds. But while I have enjoyed every single Mario 64 hack that I played, a tricky thing that they often have to contend with is the difficulty. To me, Mario 64 is at its strongest thanks to the movement and exploration, but also the efficient pacing whereby a mistake is rarely so punishing that you'll lose a substantial amount of progress or have to repeat large chunks of gameplay because you did something slightly wrong. It's here that ROM hacks sometimes tend to mess up. The original game was easy, so they try to make it harder, more hazards, more precise jumps, more narrow passageways. All of these things do make the game more challenging, but the way they collide with the game's fundamentals can often result in a less than ideal experience that turns Mario 64 into something it wasn't really meant to be. Mario is an agile and mobile little bastard who flips and snaps and does all kinds of crazy stuff, and to design levels that remove the agency to do that stuff and force him to make one extremely specific and successive maneuver after another can sometimes feel like forcing him into a little box like the genie from Aladdin. Phenomenal acrobatic power. Itty bitty gay baby jail. Again, I have enjoyed every single ROM hack I've played, but it is purely in these areas where I most often see issues. So when a hack comes along that de-emphasizes difficulty in favor of making a very efficient experience with fun, wide open levels that are easy to explore, a hack that actually understands the things that made the original game so endearing, well, it's very refreshing, and that's where hacks like Cursed Castles come in. Cursed Castles is a full-sized ROM hack with 15 worlds and 120 stars. It tells the story of how King Boo did some bad stuff. I guess he's the one who cursed the castles. That would make sense. So Mario must stop him and get all of the power stars back. I guess Bowser was on vacation, maybe he was too busy sniffing paint again, wouldn't surprise me in the slightest. Cursed Castles takes place in this once thriving mystical world that has since been perverted by King Boo's evil forces. Now before I start talking about the game itself, I need to pay some respect to the presentation. Graphically, this game is very nice to look at. Every level is different from the last, but many of them manage to conform to a central theme of a once beautiful land that is now cursed to infinite darkness, but with areas still clinging to the last remnants of life. The castles exist in this weird nighttime dimension of spiraling stars. The mansion has this gigantic mirror area, and as usual, the music is very good too. You have the Tetris level, you have this kind of beach level with the giant sandcastles, you got this little harbor town, the ice palace, the ancient canyon, the snowy city with all the big time wall jumps, the Ewok canopy thing. And you have my favorite type of level in any ROM hack, the bedroom level with all the game consoles lying around. I always love these levels because they feel so down to earth and personal. I like to imagine the games and consoles they put in these worlds are actually the creators' personal favorites. By far, my favorite detail on this level is the one mission called "You Can't Handle the Missing Star" or something like that, and you're supposed to find these secrets in these handles, but where the hell is the 5th handle? Where could it possibly be? I've looked everywhere and I can't find it. Yeah, okay. But did you check the GameCube? That is amazing. And that's another thing I loved about this game. There are secrets and surprises hidden everywhere. I remember in this level I jumped into what I thought was a bed of grass only to fall through the floor and end up in an underground tomb. Disturbing. And yet somehow not completely unexpected. Cursed Castle's pacing is extremely, and I do mean extremely, efficient. The only gripe I have is that it doesn't take that extra step of letting you continue to explore the level after collecting a star, but the forward momentum of the game manages to maintain itself even without that. You just want to jump back in and keep going. Every star is just lying around waiting for you to detect and obtain it. Some are very cleverly hidden while others are locked behind a platforming puzzle. And then of course you have your red coin, yellow coin, and secret star missions, but everything's just kinda waiting for you. There's no infuriatingly vague hints that don't do fuck all for you. There's no super narrow corridors or tight areas where you have no sense of the scale of the world. Most of the levels are detailed and wide open enough that you won't get lost in them and have no idea where to go. There are no red, green, or blue caps in this game, so you don't even have to worry about finding the cap switches that are hidden in the most awkward and impossible to find / easiest to miss place in the world. Basically, what I'm trying to say here is that the game is real good. Like I said before, the difficulty is something that it really nailed. It has some occasionally challenging moments here and there, but that's the key word, challenging, not frustrating. It's not going for insanely specific jumps and ridiculous wall jump maneuvers that require intimate knowledge of the metagame. It relies much more heavily on exploration and reasonable platforming challenges that feel like they were made with human beings in mind. With respect to the original game, I'd say it's maybe 15% more difficult, give or take. And another great thing is that it functions properly. I can't recall any moments of bullshittery with the camera or anything like that. It's like my boy Todd says, all of this just works, except this time it's actually true. I've said it before and I'll say it again. ROM hacks are at their worst when they seem oblivious to the fundamental flaws of the base game, but this game seems very aware that it's Mario 64, and that's why it works so well. I blew through this entire game in a single day, all 120 stars, basically only stopping to delete some shit from my hard drive so I actually had space to keep recording, and of course ended up forgetting to do that near the end and totaled my hard drive anyway. And I just gotta say that it is so goddamn impressive when a hack actually manages to do that. It held my attention for its entire duration. It kept me glued to the screen. It's such a fun-ass game, and if you don't go into the video description and click on the link to the release video right now, you are a big stupid idiot and I have no desire to speak to you any longer. But that's all for today. Remember to tune in tomorrow for our next present. I won't tell you exactly what it is, but you should buck up because it's pretty, agonizing.